Something is moving in Latin America, and it's not subtle. It's not loud enough yet to dominate American headlines every night, but it's loud enough to be heard if you stop, zoom out, and connect the dots. Governments are shifting, streets are filling, borders are tightening, and power is slowly changing hands in ways that history has seen before. And history, when ignored, doesn't whisper. It crashes. Picture a continent stretching from Mexico to the tip of Argentina, rich in oil, lithium, water, farmland, rare earths, and human capital. Now, picture that same continent dealing with political instability, economic pressure, organized crime, acting like parallel governments, and foreign powers watching closely, waiting for opportunity. That combination is never harmless. It never stays local. Across Latin America, trust in institutions is eroding. In country after country, people no longer believe elections will fix their problems, courts will protect them, or police will keep them safe. When that belief dies, societies don't collapse overnight. They rot slowly. Then suddenly, we've seen this movie before, and it never ends quietly. Some arrive promising justice and equality. Others promise order and security. Almost all of them concentrate power, weaken checks and balances, and frame critics as enemies of the people. Venezuela is no longer an isolated example. It's a warning sign that wasn't taken seriously enough. What began as economic mismanagement slowly turned into full institutional collapse, mass migration, and a humanitarian crisis that spilled across borders. Millions fled not because of war, but because normal life became impossible. That kind of collapse doesn't respect geography. At that point, the state exists mostly on paper. History shows that when security replaces liberty entirely, stability is borrowed time. Borrowed time always comes with interest. When organized crime becomes organized governance, the consequences go far beyond borders. South America tells a similar story in a different tone. Argentina struggles with chronic inflation that eats salaries alive. Brazil oscillates between political extremes with deep polarization and institutional stress. Peru cycles through precedents faster than economic reforms. Colombia still carries the long shadow of armed groups and narco-traffic. Chile, once considered a model of stability, faces social unrest and constitutional uncertainty. It's structural pressure building across an entire region. Now, add foreign influence to the equation. Infrastructure projects, loans, ports, energy investments. On paper, it looks like developments. In reality, it often comes with debt dependency, political leverage, and strategic positioning. Latin America is no longer just America's backyard. It's a chessboard. Why does this matter to the United States? because instability south of the border doesn't stay there. It moves north, east, and west. Migration is the most visible consequence. They move. The United States becomes the primary destination, absorbing pressure on housing, healthcare, labor markets, and social services. But migration is only the surface effect. Transnational criminal networks don't respect borders. Drug trafficking, human smuggling, weapons flows. Cybercriminality expands when states weaken. Cartels evolve into multinational enterprises, laundering money through banks, cryptocurrencies, and shell companies across continents. Weak governance in one region becomes crime in another. Then there's the geopolitical angle. A destabilized Latin America opens doors for rival powers to establish influence, dangerously close to U.S. territory. The world learned too late that ignoring slow-burning instability is far more expensive than addressing it early. If reforms are delayed, institutions weakened further, and corruption normalized. Latin America risks entering a prolonged cycle of stagnation and instability. That path leads to continuous migration, economic volatility, and growing influence from powers that don't prioritize democratic norms. If, however, international engagement focuses on strengthening institutions rather than backing on economic development rather than short-term extraction, the trajectory can change. But that requires attention, strategy, and long-term thinking, things politics often struggles to deliver. The reality is uncomfortable but clear. What is happening in Latin America is not distant. It is not isolated. It is not someone else's problem. And history shows that warning signals ignored don't disappear. They grow louder, closer, and far more costly than anyone expected.